Uber is making some serious changes when it comes to the driver app, and California drivers should be furious. But not only should California drivers be mad, all drivers across the country should be too. That's what we're talking about right now. Hey everyone, my name is Chris and this is Real Rideshare Stories. And today we're going to be talking about why Uber gives certain things, but then a year later takes them away. Really probably should be angering a lot of drivers, not just in the state of California, but all across the country, because these changes were actually really awesome. And granted, I don't live in California, but I would have loved to see these changes in my area, because I would be taking advantage of them so I can make more money while I'm out on the road, making better decisions, and overall reducing my expenses and just having great strategies when working. So some of the changes that are changing is the ability to set your own rates. California, you had a fare multiplier up to 5x. So if you wanted to run higher, then you could. So if you wanted to run around the area at 2x, 3x, 4x, or anywhere in between, you really could, which means you could make more money. They're taking that back and getting rid of that. Then they're also replacing the upfront range that riders see with the upfront pricing that all across the country already has. Not only that, they're also changing the service fee, which was capped at 25%, which now will be pretty much whatever the difference between what the rider pays and what a driver makes. And then they're going to be changing surge, which is going to go from the multiplier surge that was all in California, now back to flat rate surge, which is pretty much the same as across the country. So basically, all of the changes that Uber made in the state of California to try to make drivers look like they're more independent contractors is pretty much going away. The only thing that hasn't gone away, but is actually going to be modified, is the ability to see the pickup and drop off location. But the modification comes where you're only going to see the first 4 ping requests every 30 minutes. So once you go online, a 30-minute timer starts. The first 4 ping requests that come in within 30 minutes, you're going to see the pickup and drop off location. But if you go through the 4 ping requests before the half hour is up, then you're not going to see that information. Now, these changes should have drivers in California very angry, but they should really also be angering drivers across all markets, not just in California, because these were awesome changes. The ability to set your own fare was fantastic. So if you didn't agree with what the pay rate was when it was standard in Uber, you could up that. So you could pretty much go up to 5x. If you wanted to run around the area at 2x all the time, and then during times where it was really high or really busy, if you wanted to go to 3.5x, 5x, whatever it was, you could, and you would make more money. Being able to see the pickup and drop off locations was really nice too, because you knew it was going to be worth it or not. Why would you take a ride that's 20 minutes away, but it's really only going 4 minutes down the road or a mile down the road or something like that? It's not worth it for you to go on that ride to pick that person up. So there were a lot of great changes that they put in place in California. And because they had AB5-like legislation, it was pretty much a way to determine, are you an independent contractor or are you an employee? So they were trying to make it look more like an independent contractor. And it also brings up that whole thing, well, are drivers really independent contractors or employees? Other states are looking at AB5-like legislation. So will Uber roll out something similar in those markets? Well, I really hope so. New York is one of them. I guess time will tell if that's the case or not. But I want to hear what your thoughts are. Are you a California driver? And did you enjoy these changes? Did you use these changes? Did you even know that they were there? And what kind of changes are you going to make when out on the road now that these changes are going away? And then we're also going to get into the reasons that Uber is saying that they're going away, but I really don't agree with it. But I also want to hear what your thoughts are on the reasons why Uber is changing that. All right, so now we're going to look at those few reasons that Uber is stating, and then I'm going to share my thoughts. But again, like I said, I want to hear what yours are as well. So it says a year ago, they rolled out features like fare multipliers, which is the ability to set your own price, and removed rider upfront pricing. Over the last year, rider cancellations have increased 117%. We've seen that most riders are simply not taking trips with fare multipliers above 1x or without an upfront price. As California reopens, we need to make changes so all drivers can get more trip requests and riders can count on getting a ride when they request one. So now I think there's a very small partial truth here, but the rest is clouded in a lot of crap. So maybe it's true that the fare cancellations have increased by 117% by riders over the course of whatever time frame. But the question is, what's that number based on? Is that based on 100 rides, 1,000 rides? Because it's going to be a lot different between the two. So if you have per 100 rides, if you only have, say, 5 cancellations and 117% increase, that would bring that same 100 ride requests that 95 of them were completed, it would bring it down to 89. So is that really a big difference? And then the same thing for when it comes to 1,000 rides. So what are they basing that number off of when it comes to total rides? That's not full information there. Then on top of that, they're saying that a lot of riders aren't taking trips with fare multipliers above 1x. Well, that could be true, but overall, there's a lot of drivers out there who are using the fare multiplier and are still getting rides, a lot of rides, and making even more money. So is that really true when it comes down to it? I don't think so. Because again, like I said, I know many drivers in the state of California who are using the fare multiplier and they're still getting quite a bit of rides. They are seeing some rider cancellations, but overall, they're not really. All right, and going on, it says over the last few months, 80% of riders matched with a driver with a fare multiplier above 1x declined the higher fare and did not re-request a ride on Uber. Now, is that total rides? So that means if there was 1,000 rides that had above that 1x, 80% of those would decline that and then just not rebook? Or is it that 80% of riders did not rebook when they canceled, but yet maybe 75% of rides still were completed? That isn't clear, and I'm not really sure about the statistic either because it just doesn't give the full amount of information. But when it really comes down to it, I don't think these statistics are real. I think that they're put in a particular way to make it seem like there's a lot of ride requests that aren't happening or anything like that. And that's based on the fact from what I see on Facebook group posts that are nationally known. Now, I see a lot of drivers from California posting their earnings, posting their trips, and it shows that they are using the multiplier and still making quite a bit of money. Not only that, there's also been a couple of YouTube channels out there who are highlighting people who are running at 5x and making quite a bit of money out there. So it is happening and there are people making money. So what Uber is stating, I don't really agree with. But again, since I'm not in California and wasn't able to use these, I can't really speak from personal experience. So any drivers out there in the state of California who were using these different changes, whether it's the fare multiplier, whether it was making the decisions based on if it was worth it to take that ride, knowing the pickup and drop off information, let me know, because I'm really interested to see if these statistics were something that were maneuvered by Uber, or were they actually something that's a little bit more accurate? And that's why it should anger drivers across all markets, because drivers should have that independent contractor variability, which they're able to negotiate pricing, where they're able to see the pickup and drop off locations and have a little bit more knowledge when they're out on the road and not necessarily accept blindly every single ride request that comes in like Uber and Lyft want. All right, and again, please share your opinions and thoughts on these changes. Do you think that this is something that Uber is accurate on, or are they just trying to stay competitive with Lyft during this driver shortage that they're going to be facing? All right, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, your delivery drivers, and your shoppers. And we'll see you next time.